Hi, I'm Luke McIntosh, creator of becomeabassist.com, and welcome to this ultimate guide to learning your fretboard. In this lesson, part 1, you'll learn all about the musical matrix, which is going to make it super easy for you to learn your entire fretboard. This is where you'll start developing a deep understanding of your bass and an unshakable confidence in your knowledge of the fretboard, so you'll never get lost again. This is the first of 3 lessons designed to give you a full kind of knowledge and a deep understanding of your fretboard. So in this first lesson, obviously we're going to learn all about the kind of musical alphabet. In the second lesson, which you can find up here, we're going to learn all of the notes on our fretboard. And in lesson 3, I'm going to give you 4 specific strategies and methods for learning your fretboard faster. And once again, you can find that right up here. Now the goal by the end of this guide is to have you knowing your fretboard quickly, effortlessly and automatically. So if someone ever comes up to you and says, hey, can you play such and such a song? The chorus goes D, G, C, and the verse is E to A. And you'll have no trouble finding the notes at all. It's all very practical. It can be very tempting to try tricks or hacks for learning your fretboard, but I don't recommend this at the start. When you're just starting out, it's much better to get a deeper kind of understanding of your fretboard. I can guarantee you, if you put in a little work in the short term, it's going to pay off in a huge way in the long term. We're talking about the difference between being kind of roughly familiar with your fretboard versus having a deep understanding of it. Now, which one would you rather have? A deep understanding or kind of be roughly familiar? You want the understanding, right? And the first step to kind of developing that deep understanding is to have a good knowledge of the musical alphabet and something I call the musical matrix. So in English, we have 26 letters, right? From A to Z, or A to Z, depending on where in the world you're from. Well, in music, we have 12 notes from A to G, yeah? So here they are on the musical matrix, the music matrix right here. Now, I said there were 12 notes, but when you count from A to G, you'll see there's only 7 notes right here, and we're not counting the A that's in there twice. So where are the other notes? Where are they? Well, there are actually 5 other notes in between these notes on the matrix. Now, the only places there aren't any notes in between 2 notes are between B and C and E and F. See how they're touching each other right there in the matrix? There are no notes in between them. So what are these extra notes and how do you make them? Well, you may have heard about people talking about sharps and flats. You might hear someone say it's a B flat or an F sharp. Well, that's exactly where these extra notes are. Now, when you make a note sharp, you raise it by 1/2 step. You bring it up by a 1/2 step. Now, that's the equivalent of just 1 fret on your bass. So if you took your open A string and played it, and then played the 1st fret of your A string, you've raised it by 1/2 step. And you can call this note A sharp. Here it is on the matrix right there. Now that's a sharp symbol, not a hashtag. Now the thing to remember here is sharps raise notes. That's why this A sharp is slightly above A on the matrix. Now flats do the opposite. They lower notes by 1/2 step. So this time let's take a B, and what happens when you flatten it? It becomes a B flat, and we'll put that below our middle line because our flats will lower our notes. Now, see how A sharp and B flat are right on top of each other, kind of in the same column? That's because they are essentially the same note. B flat and A sharp have the exact same sound. Now, how can that be? Even though they're completely different, how can A sharp and B flat be the same sound? Surely they must be different, right? Well, not necessarily. Think about it like this. I've got a friend named Brandon Coleman. Sometimes I'll call him Brandon, sometimes I'll call him Coleman. He's still the same guy, no matter what I call him, in the same way that A sharp is the same note as B flat, no matter what you call it. Even though these notes are quote-unquote spelled differently, they have the exact same sound. It's just different ways of saying the same thing. So if we fill out the rest of the matrix, we'll get C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. And underneath with our flats, we're going to get D flat, E flat, G flat, and A flat. And then, of course, we're back at the A, and the cycle repeats. Now, each of these columns where we have 2 notes kind of right on top of each other, they'll have the exact same sound. So C sharp is going to have the same sound as D flat. D sharp is going to have the same sound as E flat. Same with F sharp and G flat. And finally, G sharp and A flat. Now, if you'd like a copy of this musical matrix, just click the link underneath this video and go ahead and download the free ultimate guide to learning your bass fretboard. Obviously you'll get the musical matrix, but you'll also get a step-by-step guide for finding all the notes on your fretboard, plus 4 strategies for learning your fretboard quicker, plus 2 bonus audio tracks that will help test your knowledge of the fretboard and help you get much faster as well. Now, of course, if this lesson's a little bit confusing the first time around, don't worry, it's 100% normal. Feel free to watch it a couple of times and really let everything sink in. Now remember, you're aiming for that deeper understanding, not just familiarity. In the next lesson, we'll be using the musical matrix to find all of our notes on the bass in a very, very methodical, very, very systematic way. But to recap really quick, you learned all about the kind of sequence of notes that music is made up of, something called the musical matrix. It's almost like the musical alphabet. You also learned that doing things in a very methodical, very systematic way is going to get you a very deep understanding of your bass. Thank you so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. My name's Luke McIntosh, creator of becomeabassist.com, and I'll see you in the next lesson.